I just want to do a brief introduction. Sifu
Okay.
Paul Ng is has been a very very good partner, supporter, friend, everything positive with HKCBA. And even through this difficult time, he's here to support us and give us his
Look, he's a
wonderful
directional mic.
leadership. And we would look forward to hearing your your wonderful predictions, and hopefully it will be all good for everybody. Okay, please go
Okay,
ahead.
we can start anytime you're ready.
We are ready now. You are on.
You're live.
You're live.
Okay, now I should say good afternoon. Okay, good noon.
Yes.
Okay, miss everybody.
Hmm.
The 1 year flies by, but in probably one of the most unsure moments and unusual moments in our lifetime. Okay, so well, we're still in the middle of the storm. I just quickly revamp 2020. It would be interesting too. So if those who attended my speech in 20 at the beginning of 2020, remember my three major predictions, and plus somebody asked me, I remember the overview of 2020. And I believe I used the word terrible, terrible from the beginning. And I also predicted three major problems worldwide. Well, number one is chest and lungs problems. Number two, air transmitted germs. And number three would be mental illnesses. We're getting a lot of that now. Okay. So what's going to happen is hopefully we learn from it. Now, 2020 could have been an excellent year if the world would get united and work together to fight the virus and to learn the lead of China. Because China learned the lesson from SARS. So the moment this problem occurred, they knew what to do. They shut down the whole city while the whole world was laughing at it. And the whole world did not admit that there's such a thing until too late. So now for 2021, we should have also recap of exactly what caused this virus and what we should do in 2021 and what 2021 will be. Now, in my calculation and predictions, this virus did not come from any one country. And if we look carefully at what happened to the world between 2019 and 2020, two major things happened. One is ice caps in both the North Pole and South Pole were melting at a speed, very high speed rate. So lots of ice melting. Number two, the ozone hole above our head is getting bigger and bigger. So while these ice caps were melting, a lot of ancient creatures, the virus that keep transmutating, will get released into the atmosphere. And so as the impact of the whatever it is from the outer space. So we attack actually both from below and from above. Okay. Now, how do I come to that conclusion? If we observe carefully, the places that got hit the worst were those close to North Pole and close to the South Pole. Close to North Pole, obviously, would be Russia and Northern European countries. See how serious they are? Second, people should have noticed how would the Inuits, the Eskimos, contacted. They don't come out to meet anyone and nobody ever go to visit them. How do some of them got it? Okay, so it had to be from somewhere. And also look at South Africa, fairly close to South Pole when you think about it. And look at Argentina, very close to South Pole. And they were really hit hard. So where would this come from? Okay, especially for remote areas, people don't travel. So it's all from the ice caps. And in fact, both the Western countries and got this long before China. Just that nobody recognized what that was. So the symptoms were ignored until. So, and the other problem was people were so used to being free. They're free to get together, free to do this, free to do that. Okay. But how deadly is this thing? Now, to be sure, this virus was predicted long ago in the 8th century Tang Dynasty in the ancient Chinese prediction book written by the Chinese astronomer at the time, Li Chunfeng, 推背图, in the book of predictions. He already predicted this. And it's further predicted by Master Liu in the Ming Dynasty. Okay, so two ancient books of China predicted this. Now, so human, we should learn from it. And what has 2021 to do with this is a transition. Now, while 2020, the year of metal red, always is a bad year. If you look back 200 years, it's always bad. Okay, for example, 1960, China suffered from the worst famine, and also 17 countries in Africa went independent, causing a lot of wars and battles. And then 1840, the Opium War, China lost Hong Kong to England. Okay, in 1900, 8 countries invaded Beijing and robbed away a lot of treasures. All this happened in the metal red year. Okay. And so the next time we got hit, a lot of them may not be able to witness. That would be 2080. Okay, we'll be watching it from up the sky, hopefully. Now, but 2021 is a year changing from the number 7 to number 6. Now, number 7 in the life cycle 8, which goes from 2004 to 2024, is a controlling number. So when we got hit by the number 7, it's a receding warring number. That was 2020. Now, 2021 is 6. 6 is a number of money, transition, moving around. So the turning point is coming. Now, so for 2021, the key turning point is between April and May. The reason is a lucky sign for 2021 is a sign of snake. And May is the month of the snake. So the real changeover point is May. But there are a lot of good signs would appear in the first week of April. But there would be still a little spike in the month of March. And February is a bit ups and down transitional month. So that's what we can look forward to this. Now, so is the government doing the right thing to lock down everything blindly? Honestly, I disagree with it. The reason is they do this on a blanket, unselectively. The government should have the tool to identify where the problem areas are for, not just blanket. The main problem areas are big get-togethers, big gatherings, such as churches, temples, and also schools and old age homes and prisons. These are the major areas, not the common public. If we recall, before the complete lockdown, when restaurants were still open, allowing 10 people per time, this wasn't that tremendous number. The moment they announced the lockdown, the numbers skyrocketed, causing enormous fear among the people. And so what I fear is not that much about the virus, is people getting mental sicknesses, which will become irreversible. People killing people, people committing suicides. If the government doesn't recognize it, God bless it. Okay, so, but let's look at the world first. Now, then the Western countries should learn from these worlds. Okay, like the world of China, Taiwan, and some Oriental countries, they had very good control of this virus. And why can't the Western country learn from it? And also, as vaccine is concerned, okay, even Chinese vaccine may not be perfect. They say there's around 80% precision, but it's still a good medicine. Why can't we use it? China could produce tens of millions of vaccines in no time. How come we cannot do it? This is something our government got to learn. And this is a year of learning for it. Now, so The governing number is 6 in the world for 2021, and the country representing is China. Now, this is a very humble beginning. So China will keep it low key, will do its best, but a lot of developments, high tech advancements are going on in China. So China is on the way to get to the very high point 4 years for actually 3 years from now. Now we're into 2021. Starting 2024 is when China would hit a 40-year high cycle, which the year 2040 being the peak of the Chinese development. And whereas that's a year, USA begin to go really downhill. It's already going downhill as we recognize. Okay, the life cycle of the world works that way. So now what about another place that will represent the center point would be Middle East. Now, Middle East would be also struggling, mainly because the oil continues to go down. So a lot of struggling, still a lot of instabilities among some countries, but a complete restructuring of economic base. Now, what we are most interested in is what happened to Canada. Canada belongs to the North country, same as Russia. It's represented by the number 2. The number 2 is the number of sickness, but it's also a number of Earth. That means Canada will still have to struggle a bit about different forms of sicknesses, okay? But on the good side, there will be a lot of medicine available in Canada because of it. The medicine is also classified as earth element. And the third thing is Canada's recovery will be heavily dependent on real estate and constructions. So that's something they should look forward to. Behind something bad, there's always something good and vice versa, okay? Now, Northeast is the joy center, represented by places such as the Koreas and the Northern Japan. So they actually will fare better this year. Okay, more harmony, but and also between North and South Korea, not so much warring mood. So that's something good to look forward to. Now, the eastern end represented by Japan, and the eastern part of China, like Shanghai, is represented by the learning sign, the number 4. But it also has a sign called triple conflict in it. So it's good and bad. The learning sign meaning a lot of development, technologically speaking, would happen in Japan, a turnaround. But the triple conflict is a little bit bothering because it's indicating could be natural disasters in Japan this year, such as earthquakes again, maybe volcano, a minor form of tsunami, all that could happen in the east side of Japan, okay? Now, the most dangerous, and also northern part of Taiwan is part of this energy. But the southern part of Taiwan and Hong Kong may be in a bit of trouble because the southeast power center is represented by the 5 yellow force. 5 yellow is a very extremely dangerous sign, okay, unless we know how to handle it. Dangerous in the form of natural disasters, people disasters, political instabilities, arguments, money draining, all that can happen. But in terms of Canada, that's also represented by South Ontario. Okay, so South Ontario, the government still had to be very stable. They had to work out some precautions for that to happen. That is people issues such as robberies, gun issues. A lot may happen in GTA. So be very careful about guns, okay, and also mental illnesses. But on the good side, there's a good side about it, which I'm going to come to in a minute. So that's the Southeast side. And Southeast Asia would be in worse trouble. More natural disasters, instabilities, okay, some of that would happen, especially Indonesia. The whole Java Island, especially the west side of Java Island, may be submerging soon. So the water level getting higher and higher. They're causing them to rethink about changing the capital Jakarta to another city. And a lot may force them to do so in 2021. okay? And then the south end will be represented by the southern countries, okay, like Australia, India, etc., and the southern part of China. South end is a double-edged sword. On the good side is the center of speculated money. So financially, like South America, would improve better than 2020. 2020 is the worst for south parts of the world. But this year is a little bit of recovery. But in India, they would be really stuck with a lot of problems, especially raping. There's a lot of raping events in India, more so in 2021. A lot of disturbances in the country. So country is going through a turmoil for 2021. So India, for the leaders, should pay more attention how to rule the country. Now, Southwest is an argument center, represented by places such as South California, and also in terms of China, will be represented by Sichuan. So there could also be multiple earthquake events in Sichuan province in China, but also some events outside Los Angeles in the ocean for earthquakes, okay? But in terms of the government, there would be a lot of instabilities, arguments in the Southern California area. So we are going to see, okay? Now the west side is interesting. Because West End is a wealth center for 2021. Now West is represented by United States and the western part of Europe. So that means Biden is lucky. He got in at a terrible time, but because of him, he's going to create some stabilities in the United States, okay, causing some economic recoveries. In fact, I was talking with a friend yesterday over the phone. Okay, he called me from, he was in Colorado, moving to Chicago. He said, the attitude in the United States is very different from Canada. They are not as paranoid, and they actually have vaccines very quickly. And I'm wondering how come United States can have such fast pace of delivering vaccines? What's wrong with Canada? They are now talking about up to September. That's absolutely unacceptable. Okay, so something wrong with our government in this. So some associations should push the government to do something, because if they open up, they can also import vaccines from China, which would be in the tens of millions of doses instantly. Why wait for so long? So that's something I don't understand, why politics get in the way of saving lives. That's terrible. Now, Northwest is the receiving center. Now, Northwest will be represented by Northern Europe and also Northwestern United States. So that would cause some receding and some kind of instabilities there. So economically, etc. Now, as the businesses side is concerned, economic side is concerned, now the leading elements for 2021 is the elements of earth, metal, and water, and the receding elements of wood and fire. So the most typical wood element is clothing. Textile business may suffer quite a bit this year, okay? Large chains may disappear. A lot of mergers may happen. And I don't know who else can still survive. Okay, you're looking at the Light Saks Fifth Avenue or Hudson's Bay and things like that. They may have to tighten the belt more and negotiate better deals with the creditors. So textile is still in a bit of trouble. And also the fire side, which will be represented by education, okay? A lot of students may get into mental problems because of the lingering effects of the lockdowns, okay? And also the education system need to be revamped, the instabilities. High tech is also energy. Energy sector is very in big turmoil this year, okay? I would not recommend to invest in oil this year. It would be very dangerous because of it. Now, as the high-tech companies are concerned, enormous controversies this year, arguments, lawsuits, patent rights. We're going to see a record number this year. But certain ones will come out big swinging. Depends on what they do, okay? And then what's the Earth? The Earth side would be two sectors. One is medicine. Obviously, the world needs good medicine. And number two, real estate. Now, real estate and medicine together would be the keynote factor in the Western countries to help the economy up again. Okay, and then the metal side and the water side were the two worst in the year 2020. So if you recall, 2020, the car businesses, except electric cars, normal car businesses, suffer enormously. Travel agencies were just dead because it's a water side, okay? And even the food business went up and down, big swings. Now, but in 2021, they're coming back alive after May. So after the first third of the year, it will begin to come back. And so I bet you those people got locked down for so long. If the world is freed up, everybody's jumping to go somewhere in the world. Actually, me counted. All right. And the metal side will be cars. Cars are going to come back big time. But the real important cars will still be electric cars. And that's one car to watch out for, the one from China. The one with one full charge can run over 600 kilometers. Okay, very high pickup power. That's going to take the world by surprise. If they have a stock offer, jump into it. You can go wrong with it. Okay, metal and water will do well. Now, water is all beyond just traveling. Traveling is water, but logistics. Logistics would go on to become enormous, just huge. Now, so let's examine how do you combine earth and water. Earth is the real estate side, water is the logistics side. Very simple. The most highly demanded real estate in the year coming will be warehouses. That also means the land. Okay, a lot of people will get the land and build warehouses. Why? Logistics. It would be an irreversible trend. Okay, those people own big warehouses that nobody even look at. They are going to become instant millionaires. Okay, if you're looking at a big warehouse, easily can run you over $1 million a year for land alone. Crazy, crazy. Okay, sometimes I was thinking maybe we should turn some empty office spaces into warehouses. Just a crazy thought. All right. Now, so that's what it is. So now let's analyze the place we enjoy the most. There's several places. The first one, obviously, is where we are, Canada. Still the best country in the world, regardless of what our politicians are. Okay, within Canada, Vancouver's economy will pick up more because the money center this year will be in Vancouver. Okay, so the other one, well, so what about Toronto? Toronto is dead in the 5 yellow center, dangerous center. So number one, okay, make sure people don't get into the mental illness point. So we have to find a way to handle this lockup situation. Okay, because we're human. Human cannot be locked up. They become prisoners and they go crazy. And that become worse than catching the virus. Now, so in Toronto, the sole sector that can save this city is real estate. So real estate will go up significantly. And I actually predicted a huge surge of real estate between 2021, 22, and 23, 3 years in a row. And a lot of real estate may go up as much as 50%, 50 that is. But within the region of GTA, how would it fare? Okay, in terms of real estate, condominiums are oversupplied, that's dangerous. But downtown will still do well in general, let's say, if you have houses, that is. But the best ones will be in Richmond Hill, okay, which is the Earth Center of this city for this year, and also Markham, which is the Happiness Center, and also east of Scarborough, such as Pickering, Whitby, and also Oshawa. So these three regions are going to do marvelous in terms of real estate. Okay, and what about financial? A lot of people have been asking me about the financial market. Now, in terms of financial market, it will continue to be very volatile, big ups and big downs. Personally, I will stay away from the energy sector and the Bitcoin sector, okay, or the gold sector, unless you have money to burn. I will stick to the medical sector, the banking sector, and also the high-tech sector, okay? So these will be safe investments, financially speaking, okay? Now, so that's about the Toronto, and what about the Paris, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba? Surprisingly, they're very stable this year. They do not badly, okay? So nothing in big swings, and they are picking up the economy slowly but safely. So it's a very slow recovery. We cannot really expect a big recovery. Now, in terms of our neighbor United States, okay, now the southeast side will be a lot of turmoil, such as Louisiana, Georgia, and Florida. So these three states could be very unstable for this year because of newfound issues there. But the Washington side would be very smart because Washington is sitting in the Learning and Planning Center of the United States. Looks like Biden may have some luck there, okay? And maybe USA needs somebody like that, a bit more stable and not so extreme like Mr. Trump. And then New York, the stock market will also do well this year, a much so of recovery. Now, the western side, like California area, such as San Francisco and the Silicon Valley, real estate is going to skyrocket again this year. So those people who invest in those regions will tend to do extremely well this year. Okay, now Seattle is a bit ups and downs. Okay, that affects Microsoft. Okay, now what about companies in those areas such as Apple, Google, and Microsoft and Amazon? Don't worry, these companies will continue to strive forward. They're going to do well still. Okay, and what about the lawsuits about TikTok? Okay, about WeChat? I think all those will die down with Biden getting in. Now, somebody created a very interesting scenario, the word Joe Biden. What is the representative place in Beijing? Forbidden City. Forbidden City for Biden City. So regardless of anything he said at this moment, once he get it over time, he may soften the stand with China. And only when he soften stand with China can it benefit both countries and the rest of the world. And that's something that creates a beam of hope for the Western economy to pick up. Okay. Now, what about the southern countries like Australia? Australia, New Zealand. New Zealand is actually very safe. Okay. Even though it was a bit affected by the virus, it's not as much as other countries, mainly because it's a very natural country, very few population. Now, Australia's problem was too much hooked up to Mr. Trump. That got them in big trouble. But hopefully with Biden, they will soften the stand and then will build a friendship with China. Otherwise, the whole country may go bankrupt, otherwise, Australia. Now, Hong Kong is a problem area because Hong Kong is right in the center of the 5 yellow of Southeast Asia, and so is southern Taiwan. Okay, so that means the hidden problems still exist. Okay, a lot of people arguing whether it's freedom or not freedom. It's not the point. The point is the education system misled the students. They forgot what they belong to, they don't know the difference between Hong Kong, China, or Taiwan. No matter what in the face of the world, we are all Chinese. Okay, and hopefully the younger people in Hong Kong recognize this fact and unite together to build a better city. But the economy and the social issues will still persist in Hong Kong. Still need a lot of help. Now the place that really going up big and strong is Hainan province. Hainan province is in the money center of China. Okay, so a lot of developments would happen there. I don't know who gone to Hainan province before. I've been there a few times. And even in my first time many years ago, I saw the potential. I said, anybody who want to invest in China, Hainan province is the place to be. Okay, two things will happen. Number one, I think they're going to have a big free port somewhere in Hainan, if not all Hainan. Number two, they would definitely develop Hainan to be an escape place for the country, such as China's Hawaii. And it's amazing. Okay, so something to look forward to. Now, as the world pattern is concerned, the world is weather and climate will continue to be very turmoil, ups and downs, big drought and big floods. Okay, and also be careful about southwestern part and eastern part and southeastern part in terms of natural stuff, natural disasters. Okay, so just and as a healthy concern, the major areas still relate to metal. And metal had to do with the chest and lungs. So the remaining issue is still chest and lungs. And the mental is a little bit, hopefully better than 2020. Okay, so the key is the ultimate way to stay healthy is health has to come from inside. So everybody should do good exercise, do Tai Chi or Qigong. By the way, in case you don't already know, I do teach Zoom for free every Tuesday and Friday night, 9 to 11 p.m. For Qigong. For those people who don't know me, I've been doing Qigong for the past 45 years. Okay, so everybody is free to join in. I'm going to send a link to Zohair so you can distribute it if you don't mind. Okay, it's on Zoom. You're used to it. Yes, Zohair?
Yeah, I will certainly do that. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay. And because the ultimate health is your immune system. If your immune system is strong, God forbid, even if you get the virus, you'll be okay. Why so many people die? Look at it. Either they are very old and no exercise, they have other problems such as huge diabetes,
right.
heart issues, okay, or cancer, or you name it. So this problem weaken the immune system because the immune system is weakened. So all these inherent problems popped up. That's why they die. And I have on the phone, because I'm doing a lot of readings now over the phone or Zoom or WhatsApp or WeChat. And a few weeks ago, I dealt with a lady who caught the virus in March in the ski resort in Alberta. She got into a high fever up to 40 degrees, aching, no medication, 10 days, just drink lots of water, rest up well. 10 days later, 100% recovered. She's only in the 20s, less than 30.
Wow.
Okay, so it can be done if you're healthy. Okay, and also I have one of my students' friends. Okay, also told him he tested positive and he even had diabetes. No medication, out of nowhere. After 10 or 20 days, he recovered too. So compared with SARS, this is not actually as deadly. It's just very contagious and undetectable. But if you have a strong immune system, honestly, you are your best doctor.
Mm.
Now, to bring you one step further, how safe is a vaccine? Okay, let me put it that way. Those people who's allergic to things, such as they got allergies, they got health issues, they got blood disorders, they better not take it. Okay, because the Pfizer vaccine works on the RNA. RNA is the messenger for the DNA. So which means dangerous for people with huge inside problems. So that's my advice. So that's the kind of a lengthy way to talk about the whole world. But in one sentence, this is a better world than last year because 2021 is not as extreme as 2020. But the 1 year we need to be careful about is actually 2022. And we'll talk about that this time next year. So, but before 2022, let's every one of us build a strong health system, build a strong, healthy body by building an invincible immune system, please. Okay, now let's quickly walk through the 12 signs because I will never be allowed to leave you guys without talking about them. All right. Now, this year is the year of metal ox. Okay, now last year is also metal year, metal rat. But last year, the metal is a yang metal, extreme. The water is extreme yin water. We have two extremities happening in 2020. But this year is more in harmony because the metal is a yin metal. Okay, the ox is a yin earth. So both are yin, not yin, extreme yang, extreme yin. So it's not as extreme. So it's a more soothing year in a way. Okay, and I actually I wrote a poem on my wall. Joseph, maybe you can show them this poem later. It's 2 lines. The first line in Chinese. The first line I said, the day when the golden ox can farm the field again. The second line, mankind would then enjoy the peaceful time again. Okay. So it has a lot of hidden meanings in it. Basically, the golden cow meaning working class. We all had to work to make a living. We went and go back to work normally. That means the virus is over. Okay, so that's a hint. Now, so anybody born in the year of the ox into the year of the ox, some people thought it's good, some people thought it's bad. Is it good or bad? It's actually good and bad for this year. So for people born in the ox into the ox year, that means it's a bit of conflict. So they should not gamble or speculate. So should take care of the rest and take care of the health more because the immune system may be weaker and they may be subject to more health issues. So rest well, exercise more, and don't gamble. Very important. But regular work, anything to do with earth, such as real estate, should be good. Now, what about the tiger? People born in a tiger has a very dominant learning sign this year. So if they are in the business or education, they are teaching people things. So the tiger should do well. But the tiger suffers from a bit of a loneliness sign. So for people born in the tiger, the best advice is to be a researcher, okay? Or to be an educator, or to be a financial analyst. So they can analyze things well with a clear mind. Now, what about the rabbit? The rabbit has actually a good people sign and a lucky sign in it this year. So for people born in year the rabbit, if they are in a PR situation, public relations, that is, okay, they are in human resources, they are in sales and marketing, the rabbits will do marvelous. Okay, so otherwise, you can also learn how to teach people to deal with people because you're such a good people sign this year. Now, some so-called masters said there's no lucky sign to the rabbit, which is something I disagree. Rabbit actually does have a lucky sign. Now, what about the dragon? Now, the dragon and the ox form a blinking sign, okay? That's why, in general, I don't recommend dragon and ox people to be husband and wife unless they are completely opposite. Then it becomes different. So because there's a blinking sign, that means they would be best in the business to do with blinking, such as handling receivership. I think there would be a lot coming, okay? Or they would be in like a testament. Anybody remember? It said temperament, the company that would do destruction of houses or something, okay, something like that. Or surgeons, okay, breaking the body apart. So these people would do very well. But otherwise, when they are dealing with people, they tend to argue they should keep their mouth shut and open the ears more. That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen more, talk less. So that's a dragon. Now, one of the best signs, in fact, the number 3 best sign this year is a snake. Okay. The reason is the snake is connecting with the ox. So there's a lot of opportunities. There's also a dominant travel sign too. So the snake people will be really motivated to travel. I didn't turn my phone off. I thought I did, sorry. It turned off, what did it make sound? It was turned off. Don't worry, this high-tech things never can predict. Okay. All right. Yeah, we booked somebody for a long time ago. We booked some lunches. I think we had to cancel all those lunches now. Okay. Now, so the snake has a lot of opportunities to make wealth. So if the snake people are in the financial sector, they would do marvelous. Or if they are in logistics, they would do even better because the mobility sign combines with the money sign that the snake has. Now, what about the horse? The horse and the ox also form a bit of a conflict sign there. The conflict is against people. So for people born in the year of the horse, it's a double-edged sword because while it has a conflict with people, it also has a very dominant romance sign in it. So that means for people born in the year of the horse, so they should keep the cool, don't always fight against people in an argument or discussion, and use the positive side of the horse this year. So if they are in the show business, they are in something to like entertainment business and happen to be born in the horse year, surprisingly, they will do marvelous this year. Now, the next sign is a bit tricky because the next sign is called the sheep sign, sometimes called goat, sometimes called lamb. So the sheep and the ox are opposite signs. And in Chinese, we call this 6 conflict. Why 6 conflict? If we plot the 12 signs in a circle, okay, ox and sheep are separated by exactly 6 signs. So we call this 6 conflict. So they're opposite. If they're opposite, that means it's easy for the sheep people to lose money. So for people born in the year of the sheep, please make sure you don't gamble. Stay away from dangerous stocks. If you are not sure, don't touch it, such as bitcoins or gold or oil. These are very speculative, okay? And also do more mobilities. So when we are in a conflict situation, don't sit still to be hit. You got to move around a lot. So moving is good for the sheep, okay? So you can go places, do this and do that. And so if you're in the travel business, you may do well, okay? Now, the next sign is a power sign monkey. Monkey has a power sign in it. So for the people born in year of monkey, if you're working for someone, you have a fairly good chance to get promoted. Okay, or if you own your business, consider expanding because there's an expansion sign for the monkey. Okay, the monkey money sign is fairly stable, nothing to worry. And that brings up the number 1 best sign this year, the roosters. Okay, the roosters triple, I should say, connecting with the ox. Snake, rooster, and ox form the golden connection. That means the controlling sign, this ox is helping the rooster a lot. So financially and other things would favor the rooster person. So if you're working for someone and if your boss ignore you, just as a boss master Inc. said, you deserve a promotion, money and position, because it's very connecting. Things will become more smooth. Financially, you do well. People, relations good. And if you're not married yet, think about marriage if you can, and for the rooster people. So rooster has a lot of luck going for you. So do it. Now, what about the dog? The dog and the ox people had a legal conflict in it. Now, again, it's a double-edged sword. So if you're in a legal situation, like you're a lawyer, you're an officer, police officer, law enforcement person, or you are a politician and you're born in your dog, you may do very well. But for the common folks, and if you're born in the dog, be careful about legal conflicts. Drive carefully. Okay, handle things legally, have good compliance. Okay, so that's to do with the dog. Now, what about the pig? Now, the pig is ranked number 4 best of the 12 signs. Okay, so the pig is into money making this year. Okay, because the pig, the rat, and the ox form a platinum connection. So it's a hidden connection with the year. So, but there's a fame sign associated with pig. So for the pig people to do well, you need to be famous. You need to build your name. Okay, if Bob is listening, Bob Balang, you're already famous, so it should be good. Okay, so very important. And traveling too, the pigs are also into lots of mobility, so traveling is good. So in fact, the number 1 travel sign of the 12 signs is a pig. So the pig people really need to move around to do well. Now the last sign is a rat. Now the rat is the second best sign of the 12 signs this year, because the rat and the ox people form a silver connection. So for those single rats and approaching the marriage age, so this is a good year to get married. Okay, and also opportunities are plentiful because of connection. So feel free to make your dream come true this year because of the connection. That concludes the 12 signs. So if I rank them, best sign rooster, second best sign rat, third best sign snake, fourth best sign the pig. On the opposite side of the scale, the one to take care of, number 1 will be the sheep, number 2 will be the dog, okay, and number 3 will be the horse, and number 4 obviously will be ox itself. Okay, this is a bit of conflict sign, but by recognize how to deal with it, you can turn around situation and make them all work well for you. With that, I wish everybody a very healthy and very successful New Year. And Chinese New Year is approaching. By the way, the good news is I've been invited to be guest speaker during the Chinese New Year Festival by the CCTV in Beijing using Zoom. So most likely will be on CGTN, China Global Television Network. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. You're getting more and more famous, Sifu Paul. It's great to see that. And we are so lucky to have you as part of our team. Would you be able to entertain some questions?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, we have a couple, and they are related to real estate. So let me just quickly, briefly read this out. In terms of the real estate, are there any specific regions that you're talking about? I think you mentioned that in a particular, in one of your part of your presentation, that Vancouver and Toronto in Canada will be highlighted, will be good for this year. If you can confirm that or add on to that.
Yes, I confirm that. The
Okay.
reason is Vancouver is a money center this year, and Toronto is the earth center. Don't forget, 5 yellow is bad, but it's also a very heavy earth sign.
Okay.
So for Toronto to recover, you need earth. And actually Montreal will do not badly too.
That's good to hear.
Montreal is also partially on the fire, partially on the earth center.
Any particular, you mentioned warehousing is a good sector to be in. Any other sort of asset sectors in real estate in Canada that you would recommend?
Real estate is the best word I can think of in English, because it says real estate. So it's
Yeah,
not a
real,
fake.
not fake.
Now, just want to share some personal development. I am chief advisor to Minto on a project west side of Berwick and Kennedy in Markham, 1,253 houses. I am also chief advisor to Kyle Moore on the project northwest of 16 and Kennedy, 1,035 houses. Okay.
Fantastic.
And I'm also picking on a new project, advisor to City Park Homes, also in Markham. I don't know exactly how many houses yet. So those are ongoing. So I'm just informing my friends here. Real estate is really on their way up, and the developers are no dummies. They know what they're
Exactly.
doing.
Okay, fantastic to know. There is one particular aspect that is also brought up. One question is in downtown area, what do you think of the condo market and the commercial sector, offices and so on, downtown?
Now, put it that way, commercials obviously suffer a lot, and because of the lockdowns, the way to do business may go through some adjustments and changes. Okay, eventually they will come back, but this year is still very unstable. Why condo being unstable? Two reasons. Reason number one, they overbuilt it. Number two, it's next to impossible to visit a condo now. They make so much restriction to it, the course. That really put a big handicap on them.
Exactly. Okay, that's very good observation. That's right. Someone asked about the electric car that you mentioned in your early presentation. They were asking, what is the name of the company? I think they want to invest in it.
It's a three-letter word. Three-letter word. I actually forgot. Ian, can you check it? Is that something something IA?
Something IA, not Kia, right?
No,
No.
that's Korean.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so certainly if we, and I'll do some research as well and get back to the
Okay.
inquirer. The last question we have, is it a good time to sell a logistics business?
Sell
Now, yeah.
or expand. You found it?
To sell. The question is to sell.
Sell? NIO, guys.
NIO.
Sounds more Italian than Chinese. Neo.
Yeah, Neo. Okay, I will
NIO,
be sure
remember.
to tell that to
Okay.
Sonia if she's on.
Now, to answer Zoha's question about logistic company, now I have a few logistic clients doing logistic company. One in Los Angeles. Last year, they literally doubled the business. And I have one here in Toronto. They more than doubled the business during 2020. And my third logistic client is a food packaging company in Mississauga. More than half years ago, asked me to feng shui the new warehouse. They had to acquire another big warehouse. That means the logistic things are really going crazy. So it's a peak. So if you have a good price, do it. Sell it for and pocket it.
Oh, good advice. Good financial advice there. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick check and see if there's any other question. If not, sorry, I switched off the recording. So if there's no other questions, I just want to make a couple of very brief announcements. For those who are interested and would like to revisit what you heard just now, this it has been recorded and it's going to be edited a bit, and then I will give and put it on YouTube and send the link to everyone who has attended. If you feel a friend or client or a colleague would like to listen to it, please do share it freely, okay? The other one is that we have a digital copy of Sifu Paul's zodiac sign predictions. And we will send that also, a copy of that, to everyone who has attended. And again, feel free to forward to your friends. Sifu Paul will be properly credited for all his work, and also contact information if you need to speak to him. Okay,
Oh,
and he
one more
has
thing, sorry, so I had to interrupt.
yes,
This
sorry.
is the big book,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a special edition at the back.
Oh, okay,
Mm.
Inspiration from COVID-19.
excellent.
Oh.
And you can pick this up at my home. I leave all this in a book box at my door. You don't need to knock the door. Just come in and pick your copy.
Okay, is it okay if I give everyone your address then?
Yeah, give my address to them. That's fine.
Yeah, so that they'll be able to pick up the copy from your front door.
Yeah.
Yeah, without we don't want to disturb you, of course, but
No.
certainly, yeah.
Because I'm not sure about what the law says now. Can you visit someone or not? I have no idea.
I don't think technically it is a visit because you're still outside. So anyway,
No, I mean to enter a home. Can you enter a home?
that's a risk that one has to consider. You have to consider really because you don't want you want to be secure. Certainly, I would suggest leaving a box outside, a box of those.
Oh, no, that's what I've done.
Take some copies. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. You're welcome to pick your copy.
And
Okay.
as well, if that is possible, Sifu Paul, to send us the link or send Sohail the link about your teaching about the Qigong.
Yes.
In fact, I'll send it to so you can pass it on.
That's a lot of people were interesting about that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Very good. And wish everybody a very healthy and enjoyable new year and all the success.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The session is over. So thank you for attending, and we hope that is going to be. We do have an event coming up on February the 8th. You will all be receiving.
No, February 18th.
February 18th. Sorry, thank you for the correction. February 18th. Is related to Chinese New Year. It's going to be a digital version of our Chinese New Year celebration. We have a lot of wonderful things happening. Hong Kong, the Hong Kong family has been very, very supportive. You will receive information shortly on this. Okay, so thank you everybody for attending, and Happy Chinese New Year. 恭喜發財.